Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Who's that kid? Nick. He looks like Beaker from Muppets.
The one on FS1, Nick Wright.
Yep. Yeah. I got something.
That's
for
amazing. I did not even. I love that.
If I get 5 women and they're all in the same room with me, we're going at it at 110%.
Welcome in, everybody. Another Tuesday night live here on A2D Radio. I'm Chrome, as always, joined by my buddy, old pal. This way, it's Eric Archer. What's up, brother?
What's happening? I'm ready to talk some wrestling. I got some stuff I want to talk about. Let's go. Let's get at it.
Hey, listen. If you tuned in last week, it was quite a week the week before, and I think in a different way, we had another very eventful week, even just on Raw last night alone. And we're going to talk about a couple of the main topics of that regarding AJ Styles, regarding the match of CM Punk and Finn Bálor, and maybe a little more talk about Finn Bálor and what could be coming down the road, as well as we're going to preview Saturday night's main event, which is coming to you live this week. And also, we're going to talk about WWE Unreal, which dropped on Netflix today, and I have already finished it. Great watch. I thought season 2 was better. We're going to get into it. I don't want to dive too far in. Eric's almost 4 episodes in out of the 6.
Yeah, so very good. Yeah, very good so far.
Yeah, and we're not going to discuss whatever we don't cover tonight, which is probably we're at least 3 episodes. We're going to cover next week. So make sure you guys come back for that. And we're going to announce this Saturday we are having our watch party for the 92 Royal Rumble match. All this and more. But first and foremost, let's show a little love to our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy. Find him in his physical locations at Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can find him on the web at that site right there, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Any aches, pains, anything brand new or long-lasting, contact him and his award-winning team. They'll check out and they'll get you on the path to feeling back to your physical peak.
SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com, baby. Go and get your stuff checked. Get your back fixed, if you will.
Our opening topic, we already kind of touched on in the opening. We're going to go right to the opening of Raw, in which we saw, kind of carried out throughout the show, in which we had another confrontation between AJ and Gunther following last week's questionable finish. And with that, our SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com opening topic is AJ Styles will wrestle his final match at the WWE Royal Rumble. Do you agree or disagree? Wherever you're at, Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitter, whatever you call it. I still get caught up now because I always want to say Twitter, but I guess X is starting to become more acceptable. Comment in, follow us, share us, love us. We love you, and we love when you participate in the conversation with us. Eric, as we talked about, it opens up. AJ asks for his rematch. He says he wants his rematch. Gunther initially declines and then says, I'll give it to you on one condition. You put your career on the line. Because who is he, Eric? He's the career killer.
Oh, we know.
He's the career killer. Damn it.
Career killer.
I gave you the hot tag on it.
I know, but I didn't want the tag because I'm annoyed. I'm really annoyed about this whole thing.
Oh my God, I love it. I love the Gunther part of it. Hate the AJ Styles part of it. We already went. I went through last week. I'm sure I'll jump into it again. But again, everybody in there, let's get your feelings on our opening topic, and we'll discuss more things that you'll see scrolling across the bottom. Eric, agree or disagree? Is this the final match we see for AJ Styles?
I'm disgruntled, but I have to agree. Why would we give Gunther a loss? You just had him beat John Cena in his final match. You're going to have him lose to AJ Styles? I just don't see it. And I'm disgruntled because just like John Cena, just like that whole retirement angle and where that ended, you've had time and you've known, if the reports are correct that AJ Styles contract's up in February, you've known for quite some time what you're doing here. It just feels like it's thrown together last minute, willy-nilly. And I could be completely wrong and off base in saying this is what AJ wanted. And if it is, hats off to him. He deserves to go out the way he wants to go out. And if he wants to put over Gunther, great. However, did we really need to have that match last week? Could we, like I said last week or the week before, why couldn't Gunther just beat the tar out of him, choke him out, and then AJ asks for the match, and Gunther, and you go to the same direction? You say, Gunther says, well, if you want to get payback with me, guess what? You got to put your career on the line. I just think that match last week was unnecessary if this is where you were going to go. I've already seen it. So now we're going to have this match again, which I'm sure is going to be good because AJ, if this is AJ's last match, he's going to leave it all out there. We're going to see a little more aggressive AJ. We're going to see a fired up AJ fighting for his career against the career killer. There you go, tag. But I would just like to have seen this in a little different way where we didn't get this match. Now we've seen it already. So what else are we going to see? And I just think that it could have been done a lot different. It could have been done differently and gotten the same result. And you'd have a little more intrigue with this match at Royal Rumble. But that's just my thought.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't want to speculate. You know, this is where AJ came in, right? This was his big moment, his big debut at WWE was at the Royal Rumble. You know, everybody thinks WrestleMania, SummerSlam, these have to be these high moment spots. I don't necessarily think everybody feels that way, right? I said it last week and I stand by it. If we knew we were getting here, why did we have that match to begin with last week? And it was bullshit, and I didn't think we needed it. You could have got to this point without this. That being said, I disagree to the poll. And the reason I disagree is there are two outcomes that are coming here. He's either winning this match, and because it's common knowledge that everybody knows he's retiring and he debuted at Rumble, it's an easy spot to swerve everybody. Or I am not closing the door that this man will wrestle in AEW for a year. There are lots of matches for him to have there. Guys like Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland. I almost said Swerve Scott like he was in AEW or WWE. Swerve Strickland. I mean, you name it. There's a lot of names there that AJ Styles has either not had matches with or it's been a long time. Like Kenny Omega. It's been a long time since we've seen that. Kyle Fletcher is a guy I think AJ could be great with. So again, my preference is to not see him go there, and I'm not trying to put the cold water on a lot of people's feelings. I just feel like he's said for so long that when he's done contractually with WWE, he has zero intention of going anywhere else. And the way that it was kind of painted that this would be it, I hope that he gets that. But that being said, I'm going to disagree. I think it's one of the two. I don't think that he's necessarily going to be done here. Because again, the fact that they had that match makes no sense to me last week. Because you made him look like a jackass last week. And if that's what they do, then shame on them. Then we might be putting in a call to our old buddy Vince Russo to have him back on for a segment to have a little chat about what happened with AJ Styles on the way out the door.
Yeah. Gunther's not losing. Because if you do that, you have basically wasted the entire John Cena run, because that was the intention, was to put Gunther, whether we liked it or not, Gunther was the guy to say that I ended John Cena's career. If AJ Styles comes and beats him, I think that totally negates his entire push, and it kind of defeats the purpose of career killer. Like, I just don't see them going that direction. Now, as far as AEW is concerned, I'm kind of with you where I don't want to see him have to go there. However, like you said, there's a lot of dream matches there that would be must see TV. And you named a few of them, and there are more.
Mhm.
And it's a matter of where AJ feels like he is in his career, where maybe his body is just like, you know what, I just don't, or his mind, because I think he's still got it. I think we both agree that he's still putting on bangers. And I
Oh
think,
yeah.
but mentally, probably physically, we're not seeing after his matches how much ice he's having to put on himself or how much of a recovery time. I'm sure as you get older, the recovery time is much longer. So I'm sure that plays into it as well. And also, he has young kids, right? So he probably wants to value that time, and he's already missed so much time with his family that he probably once that window, he still feels like that window is there where he can be there at those things that he's missed for his kids and be there for his family.
Well, listen, I think there's other aspects of this to think about too. Like, I love AJ Styles, and what you saw him do with John Cena was tremendous, but he's been hurt over the last 2 years constantly. And let's be real. This is not me necessarily holding this against him, but we have seen slips and misses from AJ in this recent run that normally at his level we've never seen. At the Saturday night's main event of John Cena's final match, he slipped off the rope trying to do the forearm. And there have been other times where there's been some issue. And even when he does the Styles Clash, sometimes it looks like he struggles to hold somebody in place where, I mean, they are razor thin right off the mat. And I'm not knocking his performance. It's still tremendous. And at his age, he's been at such a high level for so long. And honestly, he's been healthy for the majority of his career. So it is possible the wear and tear is just pumping the brakes on this thing. So maybe that does happen. If that happens for him, then great for him, and I'll celebrate him.
Yeah,
I just at this point, I can't see unless that's kind of stuff is in his head. And again, I'm not speculating anything. It's just reading a possibility of the situation. I just don't. I don't see him just walking away so abruptly and quietly. Like, we didn't even hear about him walking away until the Cena match.
that's a good point. I just to your point about the move set, I think he's the type of wrestler too that he can't he has a style that he's done for 20-25 years now. And for him to be able to change his move set at his mid 40s is just not something that's feasible. And his move set is those moves that you talked about. So I think it's to him, it's probably something to where it's like, if I can't do these moves that have made me famous, then I can't do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. And I respect that, because if he feels like he can't put in the full quality of work, he doesn't want to go out like some other people that we've seen where it's been way past their prime, and he wants to go out where he's still putting out quality work.
I mean, listen, he comes off to me as a very proud man.
Yeah.
Little Griffith, by the way, just to answer this real quick regarding the Eagles and AJ Brown, the dead cap hit would crush this team next year. I think whoever they bring in as coordinator will be enough to settle the situation. I don't think it's a perfect situation. I don't think it's as bad as everybody makes it out to be. Everyone tries to run everybody out of town here. I think AJ will be fine. AJ will be on this team next year. Didn't want to ignore that. We get a rare Eagles, but hey, we talk Eagles on here sometimes. And Pove also jumps in. What's up, Pove? You'll see him later on Flyers Talk A2D to say, fellas, while that
What's
would
up,
be a
Rob?
good way to go out, I'll disagree with the poll. Listen, he's a proud man, AJ Styles. And I said to you last week, it was a weird situation that we're going right into Gunther when they could have stretched this out. And the fact that we're kind of where we're at, and I said to you, like, oh, what are they going to go back to this in 6 months? I'm not going to give a shit in 6 months. Well, no, they shocked us. They came back a week later.
Came back right after. I'll say this, though, too. If the reports are correct, and of course, reports are reports, a lot of it's rumor and innuendo, right? If the reports are true that his contract's up in February, then logically, like, it makes sense that January he'd wrap up. But I think myself, Rob, you, like, fans of AJ Styles don't want to see. I don't want to agree to the poll. I just think I'm agreeing it more because of where Gunther has been positioned, not because of anything with AJ Styles. I want him to continue, and I think he deserves another WrestleMania. I think he deserves another full year, and I think we'd all love to see that. But if contractually February's it, I mean, this is like January being the end of the month, the Royal Rumble and him losing to Gunther makes sense. But I just think that where they position Gunther as this career killer, I just don't think he can afford to lose because, again, he loses all credibility if he loses this match.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the idea that it's in Saudi Arabia, if this is it.
Yeah.
That's kind of annoying. But again, when we're looking at the situation, I think John Cena proved oh my God, a last match. Why aren't you doing it at WrestleMania? Why aren't you doing it at Survivor or SummerSlam? Who cares? You go when you want to go when it's ready. And I know AJ said 2 contracts ago that when this contract is up, I intend to run this contract out and retire. That's when he started saying, I'm not going to another company. Like basically when AEW kind of was getting ready to launch because he was a free agent then. People thought he might jump ship and go there. And then his last contract, same deal. He echoed the same things. I'm going to play out my contract. And then when my time is up, I don't intend to go anywhere else. Again, things can change. I'm not counting out that that's a possibility. But it could be that simple, though, real quick, Eric. It could be that simple. Yes, he could sign a 6-month extension if he wants to, but what if he doesn't want to? And he's just, what? Similar with Cena, as long as I get these matches in, I go here and I get my Boston moment and this and that. Maybe he looks at the situation and says, I started at Rumble. What a great way for me to finish at Royal Rumble.
There is one scenario that I could see, and we kind of saw it a little bit on the TNA premiere on AMC. He showed up, looked at the title. Now, of course, Frankie Kazarian dropped the title that night.
So did AJ show up? I didn't get to watch that show yet.
Yeah, so it was just a backstage segment. Kazarian was back there with the title, and AJ, they did a little stare down, and he's looking at the title. But then later on in the show, Mike Santana wins the TNA title back. So maybe that was just something to boost the ratings for a one-off, or could it be that AJ makes one last run in TNA? I mean, that could be where, he started in TNA. Maybe he wants to finish in TNA, whether it's one match or maybe something else.
What if? And we've seen this done before. What if he did secretly sign a short-term extension? And what if he loses to Gunther? And through the working relationship at TNA, he does do a short run there. But that also kind of becomes his in because of the working relationship between TNA and WWE. That's like his in to show up on WWE programming, to where maybe this does get to WrestleMania and eventually Gunther asks for him to be rehired back. Something along those lines. Yeah, I didn't know about the TNA. I'm just throwing out another possibility that could work.
It could. I mean, even we just see AJ exclusively in TNA, and maybe that's where he wants to end where he started. And it could be a matter of him fighting Santana for the title, or Kazarian and Santana in a triple threat. Either way, it's him giving his last match in the place where he started. And it's a good moment for TNA as well, because they're just starting on AMC. So with that, he's kind of giving back to the company that gave him his shot.
I feel like he's happy to have gone back and done things with them. He left under a very contentious situation when he went out the door, and then he ended up obviously New Japan and then eventually WWE. And his time in WWE has, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's been with WWE almost as long as his TNA run was.
Yeah.
I think he found a home there. He found a place that did eventually make him the megastar that he ended up becoming, gave him that platform. I'm not saying you're wrong or it's not possible. I just don't see why AJ would feel a loyalty to a company that nobody's there that he was with before. And I get it. It's still a brand that the logo's the same as when you were there. But I mean, he literally said himself last time when he just made an appearance at a pay-per-view with Leon Slater and just did an in-ring promo. He talked about how that was therapeutic enough for him to have had that moment that internally it rectified that situation. So I don't know that he would feel, again, I don't know. I find it hard to believe that he would feel a need to end it there. To where if you're going to keep wrestling, he wouldn't just keep wrestling in WWE. Unless it's a situation where you saw similar to Adam Copeland, Edge, who he said, I feel like I have had every situation. There's nothing, which was 100% true, by the way. We didn't need Adam Copeland anymore. And then on the other side, I feel like unless WWE had a conversation with him and you could see something like, TNA came up and it's like, hey, they're interested in you. We work with them. It helps our brand if you help their brand. If you would like to go there when your contract ends, we welcome that. You know what I mean? And the door's open if you want to show back up through the door.
Again, it could be going back to what we talked about. The other half of this dynamic is Gunther. Maybe this came up as an opportunity to build Gunther up as that career killer, and maybe to get AJ to get Gunther the rub to put to get over for AJ to put him over. This is the plan, and maybe there's something after that to say goodbye in a way that and I'm sure they're going to give him a huge ovation after the match at the Royal Rumble, but maybe it's another way to be able to honor his career where it started.
Yeah,
but
maybe
we shall see.
Yeah, maybe. Again, I'm not closing the door on the fact that he wins this match. I might be in the minority for that, and that's fine. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. We'll have plenty of time to go further into this next week. But let's talk about the other big thing that happened on Monday Night Raw. Another tremendous title match at the end of Raw here, by the way. Raw in Ireland. CM Punk defends his title and defeats his challenger, Finn Bálor, to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Interesting point in here. Balor comes out to the older music, the original music that he had. And also, we have this sign of respect and this look of I don't want I don't want to call it confusion, but like conflict, inner conflict, and not like should I go in and attack CM Punk? But after the match, when he comes out of the ring and after they have this moment of like a handshake, and like basically a hand raise, Balor just stands there the whole time and stares at Punk, and it almost felt like this moment of character-wise. I have been running around with this group, and where am I now? Like it was almost like, did this match remind me that I am a former world champion and a top level guy that this is what I need to get back to. The guy with the older music, with the attitude, who focuses on himself and stops looking out for JD. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean by conflict of the. It was almost like this realization of it was like an envy and also a realization at the same time. So I ask you, Eric, coming out of this really great match, and honestly, I thought this really did a lot of good for Finn. If the follow-up goes the right way here, do you believe that this is now the catalyst to get us to a Judgment Day breakup and a face turn for Finn Balor?
I hope so, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic because we've seen these moments before and we've seen these situations before where something looks like it's going to happen and then all of a sudden it doesn't. Now it looks like the seeds are being planted right now as far as in Judgment Day, because you kind of see Liv, you kind of see some weird behavior from Liv with Roxanne, and now you have Raquel going after the women's title. So I'm sure there's some envy and jealousy in Liv where she feels that she's probably in that spot, but she's methodically working her way into the graces of Judgment Day and getting trust and building that trust with Roxanne and Raquel. So that part I could see where there's some, there's going to be some dissension there. But then also, when is JD coming back and when is Dom coming back? Because he has to break up with somebody besides the women. There's got to be another counterpart in there probably to execute that face turn. But I want to go backwards a little bit, right? So last week, because my headphones weren't working out well for me, brother, I didn't get an opportunity to really talk about how I felt about this Finn Balor match. You know how many wins he's had since 2023? House shows included? 6. 6 and 67. If you're going to, and I looked this up as well, WWE is known since September that they were coming to Ireland. So I'm sure somewhere there's like, oh, well, Finn Balor's from there. Maybe we should have a nice moment for him. Maybe put him in a title match. Don't you think it would have been a little smarter to give him a couple wins? Maybe earn that title match. He came out and said, I don't need a handout. Well, you got a handout in your own home country. Now, don't get me wrong. The match was excellent, and I loved it. And I loved everything you talked about as far as the entrance and the match, and the crowd was eating it up, and they were booing Punk, and I thought it was great. But did we really think Finn Balor is winning the World Heavyweight title? Hell no. And that's what would have made it that much better, is if there was an opportunity for him to win that title. He didn't beat anybody. I don't remember. The last win he had, I believe, was Dragon Lee. Oh, no, he beat Penta. I'm sorry. He beat Penta in October or November. And he beat Dragon Lee earlier in the year in a one-on-one match. So that right there tells me they just threw this all together and no planning whatsoever. It would have been that much better if I really thought that Finn Balor had any shot at winning the world title. But other than that, I thought it was great. And I hope they're doing something with him because he deserves so much better than where he's been. Stop with the video games. Turn him face. Make him into the star he's supposed to be. I'm done.
I agree with you in the ending part. In terms of what you're talking, I don't disagree with you on has he been mismanaged. But
It's
I'm also
not on
at
him either.
I'm
sorry.
also at a, I know, but I'm also at a point where, like, this isn't like Drew McIntyre mismanagement, where Drew has been, like, Finn has not been in the main event picture for a while. Finn hasn't been. Drew has been there. Drew has gotten championship match after championship match after championship match, monster feud with CM Punk for the last 2 straight years. It is not the same when I sit here and say, I didn't feel like going in. I needed Finn Bálor to win to feel good about the match. I got what I needed out of this was when I went into this match, I thought to myself, I really hope that somehow Finn comes out of this looking strong and looking like a guy who should be in that spot. I got that. And now, do I think there needs to be a follow-up? I do. I don't, to me, a house show record doesn't matter. I don't care about that. Because the same guy wins the matches they're 99 out of 100 times. You know
6 wins since 2023.
You want to talk television? I get it, but I'm not going to look at. Don't give me a house show record.
No, I'm talking about. So
you told me including house shows.
So including house shows.
You're talking about one-on-one, right?
His 2 wins on TV in the last year were Dragon Lee and Penta.
Right.
They're the only wins he's had on TV.
Right. I don't
so why does he deserve a championship?
How many one-on-one matches has he had on TV?
I believe he's on TV. I don't. So not many, but you had an opportunity since September. You had an opportunity since September,
right? But you're proving my put
him in a number 1 contenders match. That's all you needed to do.
At one point, he took time off.
Have him win a battle royal. Have him earn an opportunity to go to Ireland.
I don't care about AEW and eliminator matches.
You don't know a triple threat match for a number 1 contender. That's all you need. Get him a win. Him a win. That's all you needed to do.
Let me finish my point. Don't tell me about house show matches. The majority of Finn Balor's run for the last 3 years has been in tag teams, where he's been at the top for most of the last 3 years. So you're
really going to count those?
That's been the run he's had.
When did they defend the titles? They don't do anything with them. He sits in the back, plays video games.
Priest, him and JD, he had multiple tag team title runs with multiple partners, and he's been one of the figureheads of the tag team title. I don't care about. Don't give me a house show record. I'm telling you that now.
I just gave you 2 televised wins that he's had in the last 2 years.
That's fine. I understand that. And I told you, yes, there could have been a better opportunity there. But don't give me the 6 and 67. I don't care about that. Tell me how many one-on-one matches he's had on television. Not many, because he's been in tag team matches, 6-man tags. It's not like he hasn't been utilized in matches on television. And it's not like he's lost every match he's had since he's been on television. One-on-one matches, he's not been
more than enough.
And why? Because that hasn't been the focus. It doesn't mean they can't zero in now and give him that focus. I don't care that he was placed and given a handout. Drew McIntyre's the champion because he was given handout after handout after handout after handout. And guess what? I'm happy for him because he needed it.
So
Cody Rhodes is a Nepo baby. They're all handed stuff, Eric. He's a Nepo baby. Cody earned it up to a point, but now he's a Nepo baby. He's given everything. And I love Cody. I'm not knocking him. But, like, let's be real. I could sit there and shoot holes in every single character and how they're handed everything. So I don't care about that. I don't care about, like, AEW eliminator matches and shit.
I'm not talking about AEW.
But I'm saying
one
it's the
freaking
same
match.
concept.
Give him one freaking match.
Well, how do you determine that? How do you determine who's the other guy that gets the opportunity?
Anybody.
Oh,
Penta. Somebody, anybody, somebody with a pulse.
I love Penta, and I think Penta definitely is somebody who in 2026 needs to get a push. But Penta's been out of action for about 4 months.
Get Balor a win. It's not that hard to give him a singles win over somebody.
Listen,
how hard is that?
I understand that, Eric. You're just gonna keep going. But that's your point. But you also skewed it because you didn't look at all the rest that he's done on television. At this point, he hasn't been a one-on-one guy. He hasn't been a one-on-one guy for 3 years, Eric. Now that seems to be that's the direction they're going to start going.
So why
fine.
would I go right into a championship match and think he's going to win?
Why does Drew McIntyre get 17 championship matches in a row? It's the same thing on the opposite
But he's in
side.
the picture. He's been in the picture.
But why?
But
why? Why is he in the picture? Because he's Drew McIntyre? Why is he in the picture? He didn't win a big match for 3 years, 2 years, since COVID. Why is Drew McIntyre in the picture?
Why is Finn all of a sudden in the picture?
But you're arguing out of one side of your mouth for one guy and the other side for another guy, and two opposite things. It's the same thing as two different extremes, but it's the same idea. Why are they in the picture?
I don't agree.
They don't deserve it. Drew didn't deserve it. He lost every match for 2 years. In the one he won, he gave it up 8 minutes later. Why does Drew McIntyre deserve it? Because he's a dick? Because he looks great?
Because his house was raided.
Fair enough.
Nobody went to Northern Ireland and raided Finn Bálor's house.
Why did Braun Breaker
see CM Punk in his house?
Why did Braun Breaker deserve a title match over Bronson Reed? Bronson Reed took out the tribal chief who carried the title for 4 years.
He pinned the World Heavyweight Champion.
Okay. The other one pinned the guy who in a bullshit. But let's talk concept. It wasn't clean.
It's better than being a tag team and playing 2K25.
You weren't even. He wasn't even the most.
From Liv Morgan. Oh, go on out there and go get a championship match.
He wasn't even
a championship match.
He wasn't even the most pushed guy in his group.
Exactly. That's the point.
I'm talking about Braun Breaker.
I'm talking about Finn too.
That's fine, but I'm talking about Braun Breaker now. I'm trying to make a point. I could give you every person who's in the main event title match. You didn't have a problem with Braun Breaker getting the title match. Oh, because he pinned CM Punk. Who gives a shit? He pinned him because a masked guy jumped the cage and looked like a moron.
But he's
in the title match.
He's not in the back playing video games.
Bronson Reed earned that spot.
If Braun Breaker's back there playing video games, you got an argument.
He's sitting there wearing shoes around his neck tied at the shoelaces. like my point is you could shoot holes through all of them. My thing coming into it was I don't give a shit how they put Finn Bálor in there. I'm happy to see Finn Bálor in a meaningful spot. And I'm happy to see that they've teased when it looks like we talked about last week, and the follow through this week looks like we are going that direction. There's a reset button being hit here where they are trying to completely flip a lot of the creative that they tied themselves into for 2028 at the start of 2026. And one of them seems to be the character of Finn Bálor. And how do we get out of this whole Judgment Day mess? Because they're definitely, it's not even just him. They're breaking it down at the and I hope that when JD comes back, I don't want Bálor to turn on JD. I think that they should be chums or JD turn on Bálor, however it works out. I would much rather see Dom come back and attack Finn. If that's how you want to do it that way.
Take that video game system, throw it against the wall, and he'll get a huge pop. Triple H likes pops. That'd be perfect.
That's what Vince Russo likes to say. But you can't argue with the fact that the way it appears for a guy who deserves it. I don't care. I'm not going to get in another debate with you over whether he needed to win a match going in. I'm looking forward. 2026 needed a reset. 25 was not good. And we're talking about from the Cody run, who I'm as big Cody fan as you ever see. That Cody run was terrible. Cody run wasn't good. You had Seth hurt himself, and then you had to end up flipping the belt to Punk eventually, who I think has had a really good run so far.
Yeah, he's been fine.
Yeah. It's probably been the one bright spot. U.S. title's been a bright spot. Women's U.S. title, for the most part, when it's on Chelsea, has been a bright spot. And I don't mind Julia, but
Yeah. I agree with you that Balor needs a reset. I just think, and I'm old fashioned in that wins and losses matter. And when I don't see somebody winning ever, it takes their credibility away. And then you have you, and it's not his fault. It's just the way he's booked. Again, at the end of the day, it's not it's not anything that he deserves to be. He should be multi-time world champion by now. He's still got that one universal title reign that was shortened due to an injury, and he hasn't gotten another opportunity since, and that's a crime. And it's pretty sad that they couldn't find something for him that he should have been the leader of Judgment Day. Dom happened to get over, and I think that's what derailed that, because I think originally that was probably the plan, was Finn was going to be the top guy, and then all of a sudden Dirty Dom gets over like Rover, and I think that's where stalled that. But then you put them in a tag team, and they never defended the titles. They're in the back. It just felt like a joke, and it felt like the Judgment Day for a while was a big joke, except for Dom. And now, all of a sudden, you want to resurrect Finn Bálor. Great. I hope it works, but I just feel like they could have done a little better to catapult his stock before putting him in a title match. I just do.
We're gonna totally see opposites. I don't disagree with you. Wins and losses matter, but for a company that very clearly it doesn't matter, I'm not gonna start now saying this is it. This is where I'm throwing my hands up, when I just saw Drew McIntyre lose 7 matches to Cody Rhodes before he got one, and when I just saw, Bronson Reed, who earned it, get shafted because Austin Theory jumped the cage and Braun Breaker happened to be the one there, and because he runs 23 miles per hour and he's a Steiner. And by the way, I love Braun Breaker, so I want
to talk about him when we talk about Unreal.
Yeah, I love Braun Breaker, so I'm not trying to pick his title opportunity apart.
I know, and I agree with you that Bronson should have been.
Correct. I have to.
Yeah.
If we're going to pick one apart, I have to go down the line and pull them all out and pick them all apart. And I don't want to do that because, again, at the end of the day, I am, after what I saw last week, I might be a little bit more in arms, but after what I saw last week, what seems to be a big shift in the company in terms of the creative and what they're trying to accomplish for WrestleMania season, I'm okay with whatever last minute things they try to pull here to shift some of these pieces around and get them to where they need to be. And if it had to be we're going to go back to when Punk said he wanted to face him, then that's fine with me.
And I was okay with the match. Match was excellent. I thought it was, but you've known since September. That's my argument. You've known since September. It's like you've known with Cena since January that he was done in December. And it just feels like...
Well, they do kind of dive a little bit into that on Unreal.
I know, but
listen, we're going to dive into Unreal in a minute. Well, 2 minutes, because we're going to just do a quick run through of the Saturday night's main event matches and give our predictions. They got painted into a corner in that situation. How they didn't know Creative had no idea Cody was going to be away. Did you see that part?
They
didn't know Cody was going to be away to shoot Street Fighter?
No, I think that's that might be in the last episode. That's all right.
It's not a huge spoiler because he wasn't there, but they do talk about that as they wanted to have a better transition of Cena back to being a face, but because after Mania, Cody had to disappear for a while to do film, they're like, oh, well, we got to figure out a way to do it. That's kind of where they got to. So anyway, I believe are you going to read off the matches? And I'm just going to give a quick narrative and jump through it.
So Saturday night's main event this coming Saturday, we've got some. The first match on. Speaking of Cody Rhodes, he goes 1-on-1 with Jacob Fatu. I think this may turn into a no contest.
There's not gonna be a finish.
Yeah, schmaz, unless you want to make Jacob look good and have a pinfall win, but I don't see that happening.
No. Cody
There's
losing twice in a row. I don't see
yeah,
that
probably
happening.
not. Yeah, I think it'll be probably like a no contest, but it'll be physical. That's for sure. Number one contenders match for the undisputed title: Randy Orton, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, and Sami Zayn. It's in Montreal. I'm going with Sami Zayn. I think we're going to get Sami versus Drew at the Royal Rumble.
I would love to see Trick Williams come out of this and
Oh, yeah, me too.
really strap the rocket ship to him and take this thing off. However, I do agree with you. I think it's yet another Sami Zayn run at Drew.
Mm-hmm.
I personally would rather see Sami maybe win the Rumble and get his title opportunity and shot at Drew that way. Push this thing out a little further with Sami and give him that moment. To me, if it's at Rumble, he's not carrying the title. It's over. So I just don't want Sami to be put in. He's another one. Cannot win a big match
Yeah.
when it means the most. Intercontinental title he can, but not for a world championship. And with the impassioned speech we just heard about how his kid said to him, "How many of these do you have?" Like, to me, that tugs the heartstring. That to me is the type of line that can kick you off and push you all the way to WrestleMania if you bide your time through the Rumble and then get it going.
Yeah. I said it last week about Drew. I just hope this isn't a transitional thing where he drops the title at the Rumble. I just think I mean they could go a different direction, and I'd be fine with any of them. I mean, Damian Priest, I don't know if we've seen that already, right? They've already feuded. Yeah, they feuded for the world title.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think they're going that direction, but I could see any of the other three, specifically Randy or Sami, but I'm leaning towards Sami, but I think Drew hangs on to the title into WrestleMania, but yeah, I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Sami on that one. Women's tag title match: Rio versus Liv and Roxanne. I think Rio retains. And
Yeah, I think
we might start to see the dissension. Not the dissension, maybe one costs the other. Something happens where it's kind of.
Yeah, I think this is where we start to see, the paint chip away off the wall. Yeah.
Yep. And I think that is it.
Yeah, it's always a small card.
Yeah, small card. I think it'll be a good show. It's a good card.
Yeah.
And it's on Peacock, which I thought they were done, but I guess not. But
they still have a couple of things on Peacock though. So like,
yeah,
I went to watch like the WrestleMania 9 doc again. And I was like, oh, this has to be on Netflix. No, it's still on Peacock.
So that's a Peacock exclusive. There are a couple Peacock exclusives. The Cody Rhodes documentary was one that was a Peacock exclusive. So there's some question whether they're going to go to Netflix or not eventually, but I hope so, because both of those docs, 9, of course, are our personal favorite. But
yeah, I mean,
Cody Rhodes doc was really good too. So I hope that
if they stay on Peacock, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump all over the place to find things. You got the WWE Vault. We have it like
I know YouTube, you got it's X, you got it's everywhere. So, but yeah, I think it'll be good.
I miss the network. I really do.
I miss the $9.99, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
It was great. But yeah, so all right, let's get back into it here. We started talking about it already. Let me just do a little edit to our little thing here, since you kind of told me you got a little bit further. Let's start talking WWE Unreal.
Yeah, I literally breezed through it. I tried to. I got to almost the end of episode 4. And I agree with you. I think this was
better season.
I think it was better than the first one. I think they kind of, teased you a little bit on the first one, where I think they really dove in a little more on the second one. I think there's a lot more in-depth stuff on this one.
Yeah, but Michael Hayes, I mean, talk about a guy that is like full of himself. I mean, he's a character, but you could tell he's like he's sitting there, he's like, oh, pew, pew. When a match goes the way he thinks it's gonna go, and he's just like, nailed that one. Like, as in he's talking. Did you see that part?
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's not like, oh, because I'm happy we killed it. It's like, I told you this was gonna be the best match on the card.
Dude.
Dude.
Look,
He's a weird cat, but listen, I I wish I know you're not at the end of it yet because there's
that's
so
all right.
much to talk about. But um love that they talked about Chelsea Green and Penta and the Lucha Underground match. Interesting that they Bruce kind of acknowledged, well, it's not that we don't think you're like good enough to be the person, but you're so good at making everybody else better. And that's where I'm like, it's kind of like that's definitely
It's a
not a vote of
backhanded compliment.
confidence.
It's a backhanded compliment.
Right. And like I see what he's saying, but her in-ring work, her character, when you watch this show and see her attitude towards everything, it is a travesty that we're going to ignore the fact that she might be the most over, outside of Rhea, most over woman on the roster.
Yeah. You know what I was really impressed by when she got hit in the nose by Zelina? She went in the back.
Great attitude.
Oh my God, like nothing happened. Like, oh, I'm fine.
And
I've had my
Zelina's
nose
like,
broken
I'm
before.
so sorry. And she's like,
yeah,
don't worry
she's
about it.
like, oh, don't worry about it. All good. Like, whatever. Like her approach and her demeanor, she's probably a joy to work with. And it's somebody that, and we kind of saw this, like you alluded to Penta and to Chelsea, and somebody that wasn't featured as much that I was really impressed by with one instance was Braun Breaker. And the part where he's told that he's going to join Seth and Paul, and the shock on his face, like this is a guy that could, for all the right reasons, feel like that he's got everything, every tool, every advantage. Look at his dad, look at his uncle, look at his football career, look at his total body of work. He just looks like $1 million. But he came off so genuine and humbled when he was told that. He's like, "You're kidding me." Like the guy just has the right attitude. And that's somebody that like I want to root for. Like that to me, that was just a small sample of it, but it showed his true colors and how he feels about his spot in the business. Like I was just overjoyed. Like that really got me to where like I want to root for this guy, and I hope he gets to the world title sooner rather than later, because you can tell this guy knows his place, and he's proud of where he's at, but he's not taking it. He's not taking it to a point where he feels like he deserves it.
He's not taking anything
more than
for
others.
Granted.
You go. Yeah, he's not taking anything for granted. He doesn't feel like he's earned it because of who his dad is and who his uncle is.
Yeah, listen, honestly, the person that I came out of this season is kind of where the Chelsea Green of last year is Lyra. You see how dedicated Lyra is to the craft. And you do see how much they actually, including Becky Lynch, do believe in her. Now, I know the follow-up, we have not gotten to where we want to get to with her.
Plenty of time.
She's so young. There's a ton of time left for her. And you haven't even gotten to the SummerSlam. That we're going to react to next week, the SummerSlam. Because I would definitely want to pick your brain. They go through the Becky and Lyra match, and I want to pick your brain on that because I thought that was one of the most raw, powerful parts of the entire documentary of this season. So I will be, and it's something we've discussed at length, both on the air and privately in our chats, how there were a lot of missteps through that match. I will be very excited to talk about that next week.
Yeah, I want to talk. I want to see that. One thing
Yeah.
I want to talk about really quick: the R-Truth stuff. Dude.
You know, say that real quick. I want to get into that with you.
Okay.
I did have a question for you. I believe that you got to this. Did you see the news that came out about Becky Lynch coming out of the documentary?
Oh, her last
Okay.
contract. Yeah.
Before I didn't want to spoil for you, I know you originally weren't going to be that far, so I want to make sure. So this is supposed to be Becky's last contract, and I think she's content now to go. Seeing her with her child, and how hard this really is for her to continue doing. Again, beautiful, honest situation that's happening there. And kudos to her for how dedicated of a mother that she is, where it seems like that force she had to get to where she's at and overcome before is now channeled to be a mother. And because of that mothering nature, again, you see it with people like Lyra, House, and even with Bailey, where you'll see a part where they had their triple threat match between
Oh, I
Bailey,
saw.
Lyra, and her.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw that.
And where she goes to Hunter and basically says, like, I don't want to step
take your
on
spot.
Bailey's toes. Yes.
Yep.
So I think that you're seeing a dynamic in her personality to where it's at home and now it carries over to her, and it's a perfect time for her in this last year of her contract, or last run of her contract. I don't know how many years she has.
Yeah, I think at a point too, and like you said, who knows how long that contract is. I would imagine it's probably not longer than a few years, maybe. But I think motherhood has changed her in a positive way, because she probably feels like, you know, she probably doesn't want to do this for much longer because of that, you know, their child. So I think she's, you know, getting the future ready. And like we've seen it with Maxine, not on the dock, but we're seeing like where she's trying to put over new talent, and she's trying to do the best she can to make the women's division have the people that are there for when she leaves. So I love to see that, and I all respect for the for big time Bex.
I'm trying to look up how long her deal is. They are not made public, but it is a multi-year deal, estimated at $7 million net worth. So, yeah, I agree with everything you said. Yeah, R-Truth. We'll make this our wrap-up topic, and then we'll jump up more into, you know, honestly, next week we can jump around from episodes 1 to 6.
And if you haven't watched, and I'm sorry, if you haven't watched yet, you definitely have to watch it. It's really, really good. I think just like the first one, they pull the curtain back just enough, and you get the stuff about Money in the Bank was very intriguing as well, regarding the finish of the men's match. I won't give too much away on that, but very, very interesting how that was supposed to end, and then how it didn't, and how what the conversation was afterwards. But yeah, that was. I would highly recommend watching it, and it's a very easy watch.
And although I enjoyed seeing the evolution of the Naomi heel character and how that came to be, I will say, considering it was used as part of their promotion, I felt a little bit slighted in terms of discussions on when she left in 2022. I felt they used that to sell the show and did not give any. They didn't tell us anything we don't know.
Right. And they said just enough.
Right.
They said the other person's name and
WWE name.
right, of course. They're not gonna, we're not gonna hear Monet, that's for sure. But yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, they said just enough, but we already knew all that stuff. We knew why she left. The one thing I didn't realize, and maybe I just missed it, was in that instance where it was they didn't want to team up or they didn't want to fight each other, and that was the reason why they didn't want to do the match.
So I had a discussion on this earlier, and although it may not have been the most professional thing to do, there are a lot of people that have walked out over the years, including Cody, including Stone
Steve
Cold.
Austin.
It may not have been the best thing to do, but I look back at it now 3.5 years later, whatever it is, 3 years later, and especially watching how it was portrayed on there. I don't disagree with them. That was a time where they added a secondary title that was supposed to create a prominent prize for the women's division to wrestle for. And you have two African American females who are carrying this title, carrying it with pride, and want to make the title something meaningful. And Vince McMahon did what Vince McMahon does with the regular title, and he made it a prop for a singles angle. And when he did have a real tag team in the Iconics carrying the title, they never defended it because he never put them on television.
Nope.
So to them, you put us in this spot, and now this is what you're doing, and you're having us go against each other, which is showing us you're not taking what we're doing, which is trying to show a union, a unity amongst the tag team champions together, because you want to have a match on Raw for whatever reason. I kind of don't disagree with them. And it has proven that sometimes you might burn a bridge, but you might not. If you walk out and you can go somewhere and show you can make some money, no matter, you ain't burning no bridge. And if you can bet on yourself that much. And so in a weird way, it actually made me look back at, and I'm like, and remember, it was a different regime.
Yep, totally different.
I actually thought it made them look a little bit more justified. And I thought it made, if anything, Vince look like even more of a piece of shit.
Agreed. I mean, whether you like Mercedes Monet's work or not, she's making a hell of a lot more money now than she did then. So for her personally, she made the right call. Whether we like it or not, whether we like the creative or not, she made the right call personally.
And as did Trinity.
Absolutely. Oh, she's making way more money than and now when she comes back, that's going to be a huge. She's going to get a huge pop when she comes back.
Yeah, we'll dive into the details on her next. Oh, you're good. We'll dive into her details next week. But anyway, yeah, that was really a tremendous part of the documentary, is watching the rise of this new version of Naomi as well. But yes, we keep pushing on. Let's get into them. The whole R-Truth episode, which was, I mean, if you ever see how much a guy is loved, and we knew it and we've heard it, I mean, he has an album release and John Cena Sr. shows up there.
Yeah.
Who didn't even understand the whole, like I'm your son is my idol. I'm like his brother.
Yeah.
And he's like, what?
Pretty crazy. I think they were estranged at the time. Cena and his dad. They were estranged for a little while there, I think. But I think they've rekindled their relationship, which is great. But anyway, yeah, I think R-Truth comes off so well in this. I think it's credit to him, in his career, and he's been able to, have a very long and successful career. That being said, I think Triple H is so full of crap. It's not even funny. With the whole, well, his contract expired. We didn't tell. Why would R-Truth say that he got a call and said he was being let go? Why would he make that up?
Well, he
Oh,
didn't say that. He said, when you tell me that, my perception is that's a release.
Yeah. So, but then oh, we never fired him. Well, and then he says, well, then he explains where if we are far apart in negotiations and they don't get back to us, then we're just going to let the contract lapse. So you're trying to tell me that if you and Cody Rhodes had a contract dispute and you were far apart in money, you would just say, all right, well, we'll just wait for Cody Rhodes to come back to us and we'll just let his contract lapse. You're trying to tell me that Randy Orton, you're going to do that to Randy Orton?
I love R-Truth, though. You can't even make that comparison. I get what you're saying. I don't disagree with you, but we can't say, well, you're not going to do that to Cody. You're not, because they're going to go somewhere and make somebody money for a long time, as opposed to R-Truth will go somewhere and he'll get pops and be a novelty for a while. But he's not.
I get. I agree with you there, but I'm just saying,
it's like, oh, you got Clayton Kershaw at the end of his career, and even then,
I'm not. So that's not.
Yeah.
That's not my. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, though. Just shoot us straight. Just say, all right, well, we thought it was a decision that, at this point, at his age, and Road Dogg alluded to it, he's not getting any younger, right? He's in his 50s, isn't he? He's up there, right? So
54.
We decision to risk him, and maybe we'll bring him back at some point. That's all you had to say. Don't say this stuff. Oh, he's trying to sugarcoat it like he's the smartest guy in the room. And you say Michael Hayes came off pompous. I think Triple H came off more pompous than him. I just, anything that he's talking about pops and stuff like that. I know we're talking since we talked to Russo, it's just more and more clear now that all he cares about is pops, and all he cares about is, oh, we got to get this. I just think he's so in over his head and creative. He needs somebody else to, and besides Bruce and Michael, you need some young blood in there, man. It's just I just think he came off very dishonest in that whole R-Truth situation. It's just tell us, hey, we decided to let him go.
See, I saw it. I
made a mistake.
I saw it differently. I didn't see it as dishonest. I saw it as telling a abridged version of the truth, in that I honestly thought it came off as a really greedy decision. He asked for more money than we were willing to give him. He never came back to us. We didn't think he was worth the money. Then when he's gone, we're like, oh shit. We see the value in him, not even just in the ring, but in terms of how much he meant to the culture of what our company is supposed to be, and how and behind the scenes. I didn't think it came off as dishonest. I think he spoke very clearly. I read that whole situation very clearly as he's old. He wanted too much money, and we weren't willing to give it to him. And we were so far apart, which tells me I don't see R-Truth asking for $3 million a year. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see him asking for $3 or $4 million a year. What it tells me is how greedy they were, that they were probably going to lowball him in order to get a sweetheart deal or get a big number off the books. That's how it came across to me. I don't think he lied. I didn't read that situation that way at all. I read it as, we're going to tell a conveniently abridged version of this that's going to make it hopefully sound better. And instead it sounded extremely greedy. And again, it made Truth look like a $1 million times 20 in this.
It also comes off very tone deaf. You're back there all the time.
That I agree with 100%.
You're back there. You see how much people love Ron Killings as a person. you see the people that love this guy, but you decide that based on money, we're not going to bring you back. But yet you're losing the heart and soul of your locker room. I don't care how old he is. If he's 60 years old and he's still making culture in the locker room, you see it in the workplace, in the civilian world too, where it's like you want to be greedy and not promote somebody, but you want to bring somebody in with less money, but you decide to let that person go. There goes your culture. There goes your morale. Like that's the situation that happened. And then they saw, we made a mistake. All right, I guess we need to bring him back. And it just comes off so but now that you look fast forward, maybe it was the right decision at the time. Maybe you should have had a conversation with like, hey, let's bring you back. Maybe you could work backstage, or maybe we could work as an agent or something like that. Because now they're not doing anything with him. So like maybe he was right in a way, but you handled it very poorly.
Yeah. Then you look at the whole situation. He tells them he wants to cut his hair. They're like, why do you want to cut your hair? Because I'm going bald, man. Like I want to cut my hair.
Yeah. I just think it's
The relationship,
very tone deaf.
The relationship between him and Road Dogg, really cool to see. I was not aware that they were that close. I mean,
same.
That is next level, Sean and HBK level. Like they are very close, and it was very cool to see that and see how they went from beginning to end of how that relationship happened and how upset he was. He did crack me up though. At the part where Truth comes back and he's like, I looked at his ankles and I knew it was him.
It was him.
And he's like, that's right. It may sound weird, but I knew the man's ankles. As soon as I saw his ankles stick out, I knew it was him.
One more cool story real quick that I really liked. I love the stuff with Jelly Roll.
Yeah. We'll dive into that next week.
But
you still have to go all the way to SummerSlam. I don't want to dive into the Jelly Roll stuff.
I have to go in the SummerSlam.
The SummerSlam. Once you get through that, we'll talk about that part next week. We'll go through the whole entire evolution of the Jelly Roll thing. Cool. The only point, the one point, and if this is one thing, what gave him his inspiration to lose weight? Did not realize that was the moment where he said, this is the moment. We'll talk about it next week. That was really cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, listen. Not as much interaction tonight, which is okay. We know we love when you guys comment, but our views have stayed up, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Popping in and sticking with us. Dynasty dropping in here. You haven't watched that. Dynasty. I intended to watch like 2 episodes today. And I binged it. Like, it just kept rolling. It was, give or take 6 hours, 5.5 hours. I did not feel that way.
It's an extremely easy watch.
Very, very, very good. If you're a wrestling fan, it is an excellent show. And
Chris Park, love him. Again, MVP.
Yeah, I mean that guy. It's just so funny. He is Mr. Emotion. It's so funny to think of Abyss. Oh, by the way, the little pulling the curtain back to see probably what LA Knight's life is like backstage. I feel like we kind of know why LA Knight's not getting pushed, and I'm not saying that's a knock on him necessarily.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, I saw. Yep, I agree.
Talk about hypercritical. You'll see it. Go and watch the show, Dynasty, and everybody out there. Come back next week. We're gonna recap. We got a lot to do.
Next week. You can't just come back next week.
Oh wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, hold on. We'll get there. We're gonna see you twice this week, by the way, guys. We better see you twice this week. Next week, though, we're gonna recap Saturday night's main event. We're going to review or preview the Royal Rumble, and we're gonna talk this. If there's an event on Raw that's important enough to go deep into, we will. But we're not doing a 3-hour show next week. And unless it's a knockout Raw, it's not going to be the priority we get out into our preview.
Crumb, do you think we're going to get two declarations for the Royal Rumble match this year?
I don't know. I hate that. That gets on
Me
my damn
too.
nerves.
I think it's so dumb.
Oh, Cody declares. Who didn't know you were going to declare, Cody? Dynasty says, I've been on old Rumble kick lately for my wrestling fix, but I'll definitely check.
Oh, Dynasty! I'll be on it. I'll be on it this week. But speaking of old,
Here we go.
Speaking of old Rumbles, are you ready to rumble?
So
For the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, listen, we talked about it. We finally set a date and time. We wanted to get one in before the Royal Rumble. So here it is, our favorite Royal Rumble. Let me get rid of this little ticker tape for a minute. Just in the comments, I'm a mess. Look at this. You think I never produced before? Look at all this stuff I got up there.
Archer done. Arch job right there.
I know. I'm a mess. Let's get rid of this for a minute. All right. We want you guys to come back or come to, this is on A2D Radio, but as we've talked about, we also have some exclusive content on our Lazy Booking Podcast TV YouTube page. Look at that picture of me and you sitting down there in the corner, Eric. We just look like happy guys, don't we?
You slide over. I need some more room.
I mean, that must be a small couch. Oh my God. AI is crazy, by the way. I'm not even gonna lie. That's not me and Eric sitting there watching TV. But it worked great for the graphic. We are going to be doing a watch party this Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're not doing the whole event. We're just doing the Rumble match. You come on. Here's how it rolls. You're going to come on. We're going to give you an exact minute, time, hour, whatever it is, to the second until you pause it there. And then we're going to all get ourselves revved up and ready to go. And when the time is ready, we're going to say, all right, everybody, get your remotes and hit play now. And we're going to watch the match together. We want you guys to jump in our comment section and join us for a live reaction watch party or I guess a re-reaction watch party to the Royal Rumble 1992. One of our favorites, one of the most iconic of all time, the first one to award a world champion. I won't be a spoiler and tell you guys who wins the match.
I will say, yeah, this Rumble just has
star
after star after star. So like no other Rumble probably since. So I think, and it's just nostalgia written all over it, and it's not fair to Flair.
It's not fair to Flair. I mean, part of me is like, I may do the 92 Rumble drinking game online or like on the air while we do this, which if nobody's ever heard of it, the 92 Rumble drinking game, which is going to sound kind of messed up, but you take a sip every time Heenan on commentary says it's not fair to Flair, or if a deceased wrestler comes into the ring, which is almost every wrestler that comes into the ring. So join us again, and this is where you guys can find us. You can search our name, Lazy Booking Podcast TV, or I'm a mess today. I don't know what I'm clicking around. You can find us here at Lazy Booking Pod TV. Come join us. Join us this Saturday, 1 p.m. We're going to be live doing a watch along. And honestly, even if you miss it and you can't watch it then, check it back. Dynasty, you said you're sitting and you're watching a lot of these old Rumbles. Guess what? Why don't you go back and you can, if you can't join us at that time, go back. When you're ready to sit down and watch 92, put us on. We join you. And you'll hear our commentary as well while you're watching it.
My number 2 is probably 97. 97's really good. 2000, you know what one's really good?
I don't like
2000. 2002 is really good too. That's the one with or is that 2001? The one that who won? Oh, the one that Triple H won. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, 02. That was a good one.
08, which I think is the Cena return, right?
Yep,
that's a good one. 2001 is star-studded.
The one in 2020 was really good.
2020, right before COVID, was great.
Edge return and
I
Drew.
mentioned it last week. 99 is a personal favorite. Very
Yeah.
star-studded. Says, yeah, I'll go back and do a 4 champion. That's okay, Dynasty. You can still show your support, and you can be entertained by us when you get to 92. If you haven't watched it yet, save it. Watch it with us. And again, we'll give you the exact minute, moment, time, and we'll tell you when to hit play, and you'll get our live commentary with you. Greg says, what's up? What's up, my
Greg?
brother? 04 was good, too. 2020 was
04, because I was there. Yeah, that's a special one, too.
That's
for
Philly,
me.
right?
04. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at 15. I went to 3 Rumbles. I went to 14 in Pittsburgh. And that was the Bautista Rumble. I went to the following year in Philly in 2015. That was the Roman first year where he got booed out of the building. And The Rock came out and was like, and then I went to 18, which was also in Philly, and that was the Nakamura year.
And the first women's Royal Rumble.
The first women's Royal Rumble where Asuka won.
Yeah,
so,
I was at that.
Cool.
I was at that one in 04.
Yeah, so it's a cool event if you ever get a chance to go see it live. If you got the money, fly out to Saudi, go check it out.
Best of luck.
Best of luck. Getting back. No, this was great. Listen, fun conversation today, fun show, had a little debate. Love a good debate every now and then. And we're excited for stuff to come ahead. Don't forget, guys, not only do you have Hockey Talk or Flyers Talk A2D coming at you later, but you're going to get lots of Sixers talk. You always get Eagles talk here, Phillies talk. A2D Wednesday night tomorrow. Eagles shows on Monday. Playoff talk, NFL playoffs. Great national championship game last night, by the way. I'm very happy for Indiana to get their first national title. Very, very cool to see. Thank you to our sponsor, Dr. Paul Vidal at SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com and his award-winning team. They're rock stars. I think I posted this, but I'll put it up again. Follow us on Instagram as well as A2D. There's our 2 handles, at A2D Radio and at Lazy Booking Podcast. Check us out again on the tube. Give us a like, follow, subscribe, share it with your friends who like wrestling. We always appreciate that at Lazy Booking Pod TV, or just search our name, Lazy Booking Podcast TV. And that's it. Great stuff today, Eric.
Yes.
Looking forward to Saturday. That's going to be a fun time. And, maybe if we could fit another one in, we will. If not, maybe next Tuesday after our show, if we're free for the night.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But
we'll see how Saturday goes. Maybe we'll do another one.
And
we'll discuss.
Sounds good. Yeah, this is a great time of year, and it's starting to come together. So looking forward to it, and thank you to all of you for all the support. Keep watching. Tell your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to Big Data A2D Radio. And as Andy always says, for everybody out there, grab someone, tell them you love them. Have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you guys on Saturday. Or if you're only joining us here, it was the first women's Rumble. If you're not joining us Saturday, we'll see you guys next week here on A2D Radio. See you later.
See ya.